Class, what's up? Welcome back. We have our last video on from chapter 3, section 3.3. Now we are proving lines parallel. So basically what I need you to know, and just try to comprehend right now, is we are going exactly backwards from what we were doing in 3.2. Okay? We said in 3.2, so I'm going to come up to the top here, I'm going to just kind of write this out for you. We said something like what? If parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then blank angles are blank, right? Okay, we all remember this? Well, what I'm saying here is that we're basically going to flip-flop, all right? We're going to flip-flop. What I want you to think about, I want you to say something like this, okay? This is kind of like A. And this is kind of like B. All right? So what I'm really saying here, and I'm running out of room, but I'm basically saying if A, then B. Well, what do you think I want to do in this entire lesson? If I'm going to kind of break it down and really say if A then B, well then what we're going to do now is we are going to say if B then A. All right? So hopefully this concept, we can kind of start to see what's going on. It should kind of show up just within the first few boxes, and I think you guys are going to understand what I'm talking about here. Okay? So we get started. This I wouldn't necessarily worry about writing every time, but this is if two coplanar. Okay, it is important they have to be coplanar lines. We don't want skew lines. But if two coplanar lines are cut by a transversal, so that a pair of corresponding angles are congruent, well then the two lines are parallel. All right? So this is, honestly, think about this. We were starting or in 3.2, we would say, well, if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then those corresponding angles were congruent. Well, now we're saying if two lines are cut by a transversal so that the corresponding angles are congruent, well, then the lines have to be parallel. All right? So we're proving that lines are parallel. The rest of this page, I don't know if I need to go into super long detail on each one. You guys hopefully remember your angle pair relationships. They don't change. All right, the alternate interiors are still congruent. The corresponding is congruent, and the same side interiors / exteriors are what? Supplementary. So let's go with it. If two coplanar lines are cut by a transversal so that a pair of alt-int angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. Or if two coplanar lines are cut by a transversal so that a pair of alt-xt angles are congruent, then the two lines are parallel. And now we have our same sides, okay? Same side interior, same side exterior. Excuse me. If two coplanar, I can't spell, two coplanar lines are cut by a transversal so that a pair of same side int angles are supplementary, or sup, then the two lines are parallel. Okay, so again, guys, the angle pair relationship doesn't change, it's just the order. In 3.2, what we were trying to do, we were trying to get things about the angles from the fact that we had parallel lines. What are we now doing in 3.3? We already have the angles, we're trying to get to parallel lines. So let's see how this works. I think the best way to figure this out is to go through some examples. So take a look up at number 1. All right, I see a 40 degree and a 40 degree. So the real question here is what is our angle pair relationship here? Okay, these two angles are alternate interior angles. And I'm going to ask, because I know that alternate interior angles should be congruent. So I'm going to put congruent and then a question mark. And we should all answer this with a resounding yes, Mr. Rabins. Absolutely, these are. Okay, so because these alternate interior angles are congruent, we're going to say that they're parallel. Okay? Because the alternate interior angles are congruent, then yes, our lines are parallel. Now, for the explanation, again, it's a lot of words. If lines cut by a transversal create int angles that are congruent, then parallel. Okay, if the lines cut by a transversal create alternate interior angles that are congruent, then parallel. All right. Now, let's move on to another one, number 2. Number 2, let's take a look at this. Okay, we see some angle pairs, or not angle pairs. We see two angles. What is the angle pair relationship for these? Well, hopefully we agree. If you need to, you could turn the paper. My transversal is SR, right? My transversal is SR, so these are on the same side. Oh, can you even see what I'm talking about? Kinda. They're on the same side, and they're both outside, so these are same side exteriors. Okay? Same side exterior angles. Now, we know same side exterior angles are supposed to be supplementary. So I ask the question, are they sup? Here we go. We need to do a little bit of work here. 146 plus 44 equals 180. 190 equals 180. Wait a minute. No. 190 does not equal 180. No. These are not supplementary. And because they are not supplementary, they are not parallel. All right? Explanation is actually a lot easier when we have a no. All right? I just need you to say same side exterior angles aren't or are not sup. Okay? Not too bad. Hopefully we're seeing this. Let's do a couple more practice problems and see what's going on. Okay, so in number 3, I see two lines being cut by this transversal. What type of angle pair relationship do I have between the 110 and the 120? Hopefully you just answered. These are corresponding angles. All right, because of their location, right? They're on the same side. One's inside, one's outside, or they line up with each other. They match up. They're in the same location. So corresponding angles should be congruent. We know that from last chapter. Well, corresponding angles, are they congruent? 110, 120, no, they are not. So they're not parallel. All right? If the corresponding angles are not congruent, then no, the lines are not going to be parallel. And again, the explanations when the knots are way easier. We just say corresponding angles aren't congruent. All right? Last one, and then we will try the last couple of problems that are a little bit different, okay? So, when I look at 4, I see my two angles, a 30 and 150. What is the angle pair relationship there? These are on the same side of a transversal. They're both inside the two lines, M and N. So, I'm talking about same side int angles. And I know because it's same side, they should be sup if we're going to have parallel lines. So we do a little bit of work. 150 plus 30 equals 180. 180 equals 180. Ooh, that's true. Yes, we're good. We're good. Our same side interior angles are supplementary, so yes, our lines are going to be parallel. Now remember, oh, I'm sorry guys, just realized that that was kind of off the page. I'll give you, or yeah, make sure to get that written down. Pause if you have to. At this point, because it's parallel, we need an explanation why, and that explanation is kind of wordy, but remember, it's something like if lines are cut by a transversal. Oh, wait, sorry. If lines are cut by a transversal, and we'll just do this, and same side int angles are sup, then parallel. Okay, I changed it a little bit, my bad. I'm honestly okay with just anything like this. I need some keywords though, right? I need something about a transversal, I need the angle pair relationship, everything, okay? Alright. Alright. Last two, let's get through these and then we will call it a day. Use the given information in the converse postulate theorems to show that line M is parallel to line N. Alright, so if we look at excuse me, if we look at angle 1 and angle 3, alright, 1 and angle 3, we are being told that they are congruent. Now, for this, I'm going to use a pencil only because I might want to erase this, my markings in a little bit. But for this example, I want to mark that 1 is congruent to 3. And so now I ask you, what is that angle pair relationship? 1 and 3. If you have to, turn your paper. Oops, sorry. Same side of the transversal, 1 in, 1 out, corresponding. Alright, these are corresponding angles. And what should be true? Corresponding angles should be congruent. Are they? Yes, it tells us. So yes, we're good. Now we just need to write the explanation. So if lines cut by a transversal create corresponding angles that are congruent, then parallel. Okay? Alright, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to erase this just so I don't get confused with my other question. And now I look at 6, I look at 7, and it's telling me that 6 and 7 are equal to 180 when the measure of 6 and the measure of 7 are equal to 180. So let's look at 6 and 7. Ooh, 6 and 7, what type of angles are those? 6 and 7 are same side interiors. Same side interiors. So, same side int angles sup? Question mark? What do you think? Absolutely, right? We're telling you, or they're giving us that 6 and 7 add to 180. So absolutely they're supplementary. So now we just need the explanation. If lines cut by a transversal create same side int angles that are sup, comma, then parallel. Okay, so hopefully this concept isn't too bad. I think it should. I don't want to say it's going to be easy, but I'm hoping at least that you see the connection from the last section, and that it's really just reversing the thought process. Instead of starting with parallel lines and getting to the angle pair relationships, you're starting with the angle pair relationships and proving that the lines are parallel. Okay, so we will work on this. We will practice. Test is coming up very soon, so be aware of that. I hope you have a great day.